let's start with the London Royal Ravens and the other set of twins in the CDL. I actually thought at one point before our cities made his announcement. I mean, I don't even know if it would necessarily work position wise, but like just imagine a team of two twins as your starting four. Kind of would have been cool, but obviously that's not going to happen. Skrapz and Wuskin are out of the London Royal Ravens, along with many other players from the London squad. They did retain Shawnee. We're still waiting on a full announcement as it pertains to London officially.
Mhm.
But what about the Twins? What about Skrapz and Wuskin? What do you think their chances are in 2021, Austin, of landing a main roster spot?
I think Scraps should be on a team, like 100%. I think Maddie's like really good. I think he's pretty flexible. He's like a very good slayer. He plays his role really well when he's on a set team that has like the fundamentals around him. Wuskin, the sad reality is that the main AR position is so competitive and it's so stacked that you could even be a great main AR, and if you can't flex, which I don't know if he can or can't. I mean, I've only seen him play Black Ops 4 when he was on the ICR, and then I saw him when I think he played the Maddox a little bit once Dens joined, I believe. But I don't know if he can flex, but if you can't, that automatically like severely hurts your chances of getting in a lineup if you're not one of the top 12 main ARs. And a lot of teams, like I don't know if Paris is going with a French roster, so that automatically like eliminates like a team, like a potential team, and then you have like Chicago, Dallas, and Atlanta already gone. So all those options are kind of falling, and then, Minnesota has Lamar, who's like severely underrated too. So the sad reality is he might not be on a team, which would suck. But I think he should keep his head high and like because he's a really good player and he's really good at content creation. So at some point this year, a team's gonna be underperforming and he'll be the next one that a team should be knocking towards. But we'll see. Um, yeah, I'm kind of shocked out of some of the stuff I've heard, but like come out on like Twitter and stuff. But we'll see. I hope at least one of them lands on a team because they're like content gold for the league.
Mm.
Yeah, I was really surprised. So I'm also not going to really talk about Twitter rumors or anything, but I was really surprised when they were released, only because it does seem like and I'm going to make the assumption that whatever team that the London Royal Ravens do land on is going to be like heavily European focused, if not even more focused on like actual like British talent. Only because that seems to be like part of their marketing just generally. And retaining Shawnee also still kind of backs that up. That was more of the big surprise for me is that they obviously both played really well and they are, as to Austin's point, content machines. And that was like the more surprising thing to me in all of this, but who knows? I too think that Scraps will probably have an easier time finding a team than Wuskin, unfortunately. But yeah, a lot of it, I mean, Austin kind of said this already, like a lot of it is going to come down to role. The thing for me is looking at Ravens now and being like, okay, who are you going to pick up? And I still think that they're probably going to keep focusing on using European / British specific talent, since that seems to be like how they want to go. And like talking to Odie in their press conference before championship weekend, he said that one of the things that they've really been the most sad about is the fact that they couldn't have these events in London, and being a London specific team is something that's like really tied to their identity and something that they want to be tied to their identity because the fans there are so passionate and will completely support a team like that. So that's something I want to bring up just when talking about London generally, and why it kind of surprised me that that Scraps and Wuskin were let go.
And actually, to echo those sentiments, one thing that the London team in particular are looking forward to, I'm sure Paris as well, is expanding the European division so you can get those rivalries established, particularly in Europe on that continent. And that's something very important to London. At least I can speak on London's behalf because we've heard them in press conferences, like you said, with Odie and other members of the staff there in London. They care about that greatly. And obviously, we reported that the league will not expand this year, so it will remain at 12 teams. And one of the leading causes of that is certainly the pandemic. But when expansion is thought of, certainly Europe will be one of the first places that is looked at. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if those European teams were helping try to find suitors to bring more teams to Europe, because that would be a completely amazing region where the fans would pop off at pretty much every home series. Like
We need a Spanish team.
London fan, like fans in England are amazing. Period. Like for any
Yeah, I was
event,
gonna
they're
say-
so good.
I mean, Great Britain is such a it's a COD community, you know? Like when you think of like COD, you pretty much think of the US and then Great Britain. Honestly.
Except the casters, 95% of the casters on the CDL are from England. It feels like anyway. Rightfully
We
so. I'm
definitely
not
need,
taking
like, a
anything away from them.
We definitely need like a Spanish and like an Irish team, and like
Yeah.
I would love, like, I know like there's no like COD background, but like, even like a Swedish team, like Stockholm or something. I would love that, just to expand like
Are
the
you
European.
are you
division.
picking which cities you'd like to visit? Is that what you're like? I'd love to go
I would
to.
love
I'd love to go to
that.
Copenhagen. You know what? We need a
Yep,
Danish
that's
Oh
on
yeah,
my
hockey team.
they'd be in like your tournaments because Atlanta's on the east coast of the US, so you'd probably have to travel for those.
Like, I think we need a Barcelona Madrid team. Like, there's a lot of talent in the Spanish scene, and like that would be a wonderful addition. And then like, I think it's kind of like a disservice we only have one English team. Like, that definitely needs to expand. Whether it's like Manchester, or there's a bunch of
Oh man,
really
can
cool
you
cities.
imagine?
It would be
That's
awesome.
a great.
to have
That's
Yeah,
a,
like-
that is a great thought.
When you guys were talking about moving to another European city, I was just like, so pick another city in Great Britain to put it there, just because I feel like they have the community and the fans to support it.